Okay. I have some problems with my camera today. Today is the 10th of August 2016, and I guess my computer, my laptop has been treated with a virus. Uh, anyway, as you know, I need to focus really on how I use my time. So um, I need to somehow use it to the full if I have any space in Vimeo left, and as long as I can record whatever. This is the experience I've had. So let me not lose time. It's not going to be black and white as I wanted it to be in that particular information channel. But well, it is what it is. I'm not sure if I'm going to record it the way I want to because the camera is not working correctly. And there's some information about the system in my laptop, but and it also says that I do not have access to some file, whatever the file is. I don't know why I shouldn't have any access, so I don't know who it is, whether it's Julian Assange, whether it's Microsoft, or whether it's CIA or NSA or any other services, or whether it's President Duda who feels afraid, or the Minister of Justice, Zbigniew Ziobro. Obviously, each and every of the people in power is guilty. So, excuse me, but this is the truth. Anyway, let's go straight to the subject matter today, and this is Assange's. Obviously, we need to cover the subject because, to all appearances, I have been to put it, trapped in the system. So let me say what it really is. I'm not an Assangeist, and I will never be an Assangeist. This is totally impossible. I have high ethical standards, and you cannot say it about Assangeist. To give you a simple example, if I had I have already said it somewhere, but this is a new series, so it must be said again. If I have a letter on my desk and it does not belong to me, I do not read it. If it's not addressed to me, I do not read it unless someone asks me to read it. But generally, I would not read the correspondence that is not addressed to me. So that obviously puts the Assange's work in the right context. Okay, so this is a moral, ethical issue. Um, but there's more to it. Assange's are left wing. I'm the right wing, and there's no doubt about it. They don't believe in any values that I believe in. They are totally immoral in the sense of sex. And obviously, they are totally immoral in the sense of their attitude to other people, to the individual. They are a huge lie because I'm a private individual person and the innocent. So if you think of this famous recording for which Chelsea Manning is doing his sentence, how does it do sitting his sentence, the collateral murder, then the point is the civilians, how they treat how the soldiers, the American soldiers treat the civilians. Do you have any recordings of this Assange's talking about me in the context of the hatred for Scientologists? So my attitude to Assange is very obvious. This is a huge number of people who have got some power over other people, but they have never ever reached the ethical level that allows for such power. And it does define the leaders, sadly enough. But I do believe that I'm a victim of Julian Assange in a more general sense. From my perspective, Julian Assange has instigated a, the total hatred for people who are interested in Scientology, who are busy doing Scientology, studying, developing themselves. And I don't know whatever his personal, because there's, I have been hinted that it's about his mom who has had a problem with some kind. So this is, as if there was this positive idealistic thinking line to it. But I think it is not. I really doubt it now. I really believe that it's about the power, the struggle for power, and Scientologists are the people, the group that can endanger Julian Assange as I have done. I think he hates me because I have won simply. I mean, he can destroy my life, but this is the story of the Jesus Christ. So you can kill Jesus Christ, you can torture Jesus Christ, but in the end, Jesus Christ is the winner, and it's obvious. Of course, I wanted my story to develop differently, so the Assanges have this Schadenfreude and they enjoy and celebrate the fact that they have ruined my life. But this is nothing but the um, proof, the evidence of whom they really are, because that shows their nature, but then anything else. So indeed, they have ruined my life. I guess they will be ruining it for the rest, whatever remains. But I also believe that it's just very telling. So what it tells us is that we need to work out the solution. So we need to solve the problem of Assangeism, and this is exactly the way I see it. It's not going to be easy because the actions in the digital world are so fast, so quick, and need such an enormous competence. Plus, have so many dimensions. It is not about. It's not a three-dimensional action. It is not on the level of the human brain. So I do not know how to counteract it. But to all appearances, my story shows that the real rulers of the world today are the Assanges or the Anonymous, because I think that there might be some points of disagreement between the two leaders. But the overall strategy of winning over other possible powers seems quite clear. Anyway, I believe that there are many groups developing out of the overall Assange's movement. But it needs to be emphasized that it is not about arriving at the truth. So, all those positive values that they put on their banners are simply the catchphrases that are to seduce noble minds. Of course, there's a question of survival. So, okay, so what do you want to be? Do you want to be with us and have a chance? Because if someone manipulates you, you learn how to manipulate others, and then the greatest manipulator wins. But it's not the first terrorist or totalitarian group that has developed that line of thinking, our way or highway. So I believe that there's a lot of work for the people over the world, because this is a devastating group. As for my personal involvement, the first time I got involved was when Edward Snowden presented his knowledge about the surveillance, the CIA agent, and he did get my attention then, and this is from Edward Snowden that I traveled to Julian Assange, and initially, because I myself had this left-wing sentiment, uh, I I was ready to follow a leader, I must say. I mean, I never felt any kind of imbalance because I don't have it. I know I am superpower as a leader. I don't have my people now, but it is a totally different story. This is simply a mismatch in terms of the people I need. So this is like you are on a different planet simply. But I do believe that there are my people on the planet Earth too. And this is not about taking over the people, winning the people, because I don't want those people. Simply, I mean, for me, that this is that they are not with me. And in the sense of they're acting the way I would expect them to act. So I see no point in winning the support. The only thing I want is their disappearance from my life. Um, but then, when I thought of it, I remember that I even was at the point because I really thought that he was framed by the CIA in this rape case. Now I have changed my mind because all those rapes that I have become a victim of by the Assanges proved to me that initial rape by Julian Assange, because this is the powerful leader and this is the overall attitude to rape. So I do think that, contrary to their intention, they have proved exactly that. Right now, I do believe that Julian Assange is a rapist, um, and this is in the veins, so to say. All those people have it as part of the matrix because the leader has introduced it. But I do think that he was the CIA victim. Only I'm not sure what he had done before, because it might be that it was like the final blow. Obviously, it had the purpose of stopping him. There's no doubt about it, because he was a danger to the CIA, and I know that CIA is not okay too. I don't want you to confuse it. The fact that I got interested personally in the deputy director of the CIA, which can be a trap too, a bait. But I don't think so. Not in that case. It just makes things very complex. But I know that the CIA is not okay because I have been having the problem since 2009. So there's a limit to imbecility, and I'm still protected. So it's like if we talk about protection and I get a pains in my mouth and I'm supposed to believe that this is protection, because suddenly the environment becomes silent. This is like I'm not the person to play the game with, really. So this is the thing that is quite obvious. But I'm not dealing with the CIA now. This is a different story. I'm dealing with Assange. And the thing is that at the time, because how it will work, at the time I was quite ready to even go to London to, no, not to give a blowjob, because I never give blowjobs. So don't get that ridiculous, because that has been compromised already beyond repair. Um, but to help him in legal terms, because I did believe that he was honest, and I did believe that he could really create something good. But then, as the situation was developing, I was getting this hostility signs. But on the other hand, I did learn something. So this is also, I mean, I did get some help from the Assange in terms of the overall orientation in what's going on in the world. So I'm really grateful for that. But on the other hand, the harm I have got is far. I think the little bits and pieces that don't give me power in the sense of manipulating other people, but I never wanted to. So even if I had the power, I would not use it. I mean, even if I had the skill, I would not use it because I'm strongly against it. I don't tolerate, I don't accept such methods at all. But overall, actually, for me, the superpower is in the conceptual framework, in those little things that have come up as I was striving with all the problems they have been creating for me. But this is like suddenly I've got a presence in my life, and I believe they had been earlier there. I believe they had been molesting me. I believe that my program started in 2009 as connected with Asperger's. However, there are more parties involved, so this is really a very difficult case. Anyway, there has never been any direct communication in the sense of exchange of emails or whatever agreements between me and Assange. So it should be made clear. All my support boils down to my posting a few videos on my Facebook site, and there was the support for Bradley Manning, later Chelsea Manning. And there was support for Julian Assange at one point when I really believed that he was the victim. And there was one recording that I made trying to find a compromise between Assange and Scientologists. That was at the time when I believed that Assangists were after truth. So, if the purpose of Scientology is to arrive at the truth, and the purpose of the Assangists is to arrive at the truth, then they should be great friends. I don't remember what I put in the recording actually, but this was, 3 parts, so I must have said quite loud. I'm not going to repost it because I don't look too good in this recording. Actually, I look pretty ugly. Julian Assange made me look pretty ugly, that's sad. But on the other hand, he did have a good impact on my intelligence. He was very stimulating in that sense. I must admit it, whether I like it or not. I must admit that. And this was finally that there was this challenge. I don't need it too often. So that's it. I mean, I'll never become an Assange. I'm very sorry that it has developed that way because obviously that creates a world of total hostility for me. And I also want to say, because all people have all sorts of relationships, family relationships. I want to emphasize it. You started the war. You deprived the virgin of her dignity, of her beautiful life, of all the charm. I could have a beautiful life. I had a beautiful life. And you destroyed it all in 2009. So don't take all those things that I said about horse, prostitutes, etc., as a general attitude. This is the context that you had created, and these were the answers. If you try to twist it into suggesting that you are answering, you are lying. That's all. Because I was a friend to all. I had friends who had been horse. We are talking about archetypes. Okay, there's the archetypal virgin. This is me, and the archetypal whore. And you cannot say to the person who doesn't speak a word in English, your English is excellent, just because the person told you yours is excellent. So this is really idiotic. But I believe that it is within your system, like your system of sharing. And there is another thing that I totally reject. Oh, actually, I started talking to Assange instead of talking to the NSA. But that corresponds somehow because in the NSA there are people who are left wing, and there's the same problem of, like, okay, you have been loved all your life, so now you will be having hatred for the rest of it, right? Well, no. No. That's all.